Hello and welcome. I am Arun Kumar from Beautiful Mind-IAS and this is my Psychology Open class. I am going to discuss NCERT Psychology, class 11th, and this is part of the foundation course that will be useful for class 11th or for some other competitive examinations like B.Ed exam, NET GRF, and ultimately UPSC Psychology optional. So if you understand this thing, then it is going to be beneficial. Why I am discussing this thing? Because there are so many videos. Here I will tell you in a simple word that how you can make most of the knowledge that is given in the NCERT book, because every sentence has very in-depth meaning. If you decode the meaning, you will be able to understand everything properly. So I will try to simplify that thing because it is given in a very compact manner. So I will try to simplify with daily examples and all, so that you could understand. Remember, it is not essential that you should memorize every sentences given in the book in order to write very good answer. Understanding is more important. So if you write in your own word, you are going to excel. So let's start. Have a look on the book. Here is the book. This is chapter, I think, 2, methods of inquiry in psychology. And I am going to discuss these things like goals of psychology, steps in conducting research, alternative paradigm of research. In one video, as far as possible, in about 20 minutes, I will try to finish it. And then we will continue the series. Okay. So without wasting your time, I have given you idea that what I am going to do. In this video, I will simplify your understanding by giving the practical example so that you could grasp the concept. Anyway, let's start. Here is, I will not read every sentence that you should read. I will go by the goals of psychological inquiry. There are psychology. What is psychology? You know this thing. Psychology is the scientific study of behavior, mental processes, and in 21st century we know that thing, experiences. So this is the updated definition of psychology. If you look at the definition given in the Robert Barron, Ciccarelli, or other American books, you will find that psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Up to mental processes they are confined with. But you know this thing that we are not reluctant to study now our personal experiences, because reason I will explain, because until unless we give place to these experiences, because human beings make meaning to the things, whatever things we observe, we attach meaning to that, and that meaning is very personal. So subjectivity is there, but it is not to impair the scientific finding. Understood? Anyway, we will discuss that issue later, but here I am telling you this definition of psychology is very simple. Psychology studies behavior, mental processes, and experience. Behavior, you know, that all your reactions towards something in environment. So that is observable and measurable. So I am teaching here, you are learning. This is observable and measurable. You can say it qualifies to be called behavior. Mental processes means, suppose you are perceiving things. There are mental processes going on. You may be aware, you may not be aware, but those mental processes are helping you to, perceive the things, memorize the thing, think over it. There are other mental processes that are associated with feelings. All these things come under the domain. And finally, experience. Experience is something that, for suppose I have experienced a tsunami or some earthquake. So I can give you some idea. Suppose one person has participated in a freedom struggle. So he can give you idea that what was the situation. So that experience is also important thing. So others' experience as well as personal experience. How do we feel when you do meditation? How do you feel from inside? Okay. come forward. This is not the topic. Now question is, definition I have already discussed in detail in previous video. Go and check out the detail on the YouTube channel. Beautiful Mind-IAS is the name of the YouTube channel. You can go over it and find my video. That is based on the unit 1. Several videos are there. Here I am going to discuss method. So what is there in method? In method, first is the goals of psychological inquiry. Try to understand one thing, that whatever be the discipline, physics, chemistry, political science, history, whatever, every discipline or every branch of knowledge has certain goal, has certain specific goal that want to achieve. Suppose we study behavior, for example. So what kind of behavior, what aspect of behavior we study? Where is the focus? Behavior is a generic term. So first, there are 5 goals. In fact, technically 4, but you can say 5 goals, because in NCERT it is given 5, so you should accept that thing 5. Why I am telling 4 or 5, I will tell you. First goal is, when we talk about the basic things of every branch is what? Knowing about something. Knowing what, when, where, what, something. Knowing about something, some phenomena. So when I say that this person is extrovert, so what happens in being extrovert? You will give some description of that thing. This person is anxious. What is there in being anxious? So you will give description. See, there he is not comfortable, overthinking, feeling fearful. So many things are there. So there are certain associated characteristics that you will discuss. Means how the person behaves, what are the characteristics of that behavior, what are the characteristics of the thinking pattern, feeling pattern, the way you think, feel and behave. Everything have some certain pattern. So you will describe that thing. So when you say extrovert, or for that matter anxious, or for that matter depressed, or whatever, you require to give some picture. So what kind of pattern of behavior is this? This is called what? Description. So first, should I write here or go somewhere else? Anyway, so come to the main thing. I am writing here goal of psychology. So first goal I have said is description. Description of what? Of course, description of your behavior, mental processes, experience. In general, you can say behavior. Behavior is a very inclusive term. Nowadays, when we talk about behavior, it means everything. Okay. So in general, everything means mental processes also, experiences also, in general, because behavior is influenced by mental processes, influenced by experiences. Everything comes. So very inclusive term is there. So often you will find that only behavior term is there. It means every aspect is included over. So have you understood the description? The first goal of every branch, including you go in philosophy, so description of something. What happens? Transcendental state, altered state of consciousness. So what is there? How you feel? So suppose you are describing your feeling, describing experiences. Description. Second thing is that what now this is basic level. Now you want not only that this I am depressed. So you are not generally interested in knowing that what is depression or anxiety or extrovert or intelligent. You are interested in knowing what causes this. Getting? So when we try to understand something, so why? These questions are focused upon what? See, what aspect is there? When? Where? These are. And then this aspect, second one is that this is mainly focused on why, means cause effect relationship. What causes this thing? Suppose one person is extrovert, whether it is because of the gene Whether it is because of the learning, social learning, what causes this thing, or whether it is the because of both thing, interaction effect. You try to understand this. It means purpose is that our focus is not only to knowing also, but understanding. Understanding requires the knowledge of why. So we try to understand what precedes something, what comes after. Suppose one person gets angry easily, then what is the trigger? What is the consequences? You try to understand all these things. In simple term, we want to know, we want to understand also that what causes all these things. Okay, suppose I am depressed. Take this example. So you will be interested in knowing what causes this kind of feeling. Okay, some person mood is not stable. So medical science explanation, we will have several kind of explanation depending upon the perspective. Okay? Medical science explanation say that it may be because of the one of the important neurotransmitter, malfunctioning of neurotransmitter, they call GABA, gamma antibutyric acid. Getting GABA is that brain, it is something like a stabilizer. It is not, suppose your mind is fluctuating, so that may be the physiological correlates of your problem. So medical science may try to understand this thing, but I may come up with another explanation also. For example, suppose your beliefs is not very firm, then sometime you will be guided by situations, sometime you will be guided by beliefs, sometime means your fluctuation will be apparent. So there are different explanations. I am not going how many explanations are there. That is given in the perspective on behavior, that you should watch separately. Here I am telling that understanding the cause of behavior is also an important goal of psychology. Try to understand this, not only knowing but understanding. Understood? Then comes the third goal, prediction. Prediction. What is prediction? Prediction means that this is if it is science, if it is a discipline, then you are interested in knowing the behavior. Suppose I have taken example of the I am depressed person. So you are knowing to what are the symptoms of depression. That all comes under description. What causes depression? That is explanation. Suppose I am depressed, then what are the likely behavior? Can you predict that after 1 month what I can do? In the beginning, the next goal is prediction. Prediction. If you know the one person is depressed, you know the pattern of behavior, thinking, feeling, everything. Then second thing, you know the cause also. Suppose second goal you have achieved. Now, what would be your next question in mind? That if it is a science, if it is a discipline, then can it predict what would be the next outcome? So person has isolated, person is unwilling to talk, and then can he or she hurt himself? On the basis of the knowledge, means what data we have, what theories says that in what way the situation deteriorate, we can predict also. Prediction is a very successful prediction is an indicator that discipline is well developed. So this is also a goal of psychology. We try to predict the behavior. Suppose you believe that if you study more, then your academic performance is better. Suppose this is the mind, and this has been validated. Now one student is suppose putting hard efforts and studying more and more and more, investing more time in library and all. What you can predict? Can you predict that academic performance or performance in exam will be better? You can. So if theory is correct, if data we have in the discipline, we can predict also, and this is also an important goal of psychology. Prediction. So description, explanation, prediction. Okay. And successful prediction is a part of meteorological department also. See this thing that whether it will be It can rain, it may rain today on the basis of the research in meteorological department, theories and data. Now we successfully say that yes, prediction is very accurate. In the beginning it was not so. So as the discipline develops, prediction become more and more accurate. But yes, this become the important goal of any discipline, including psychology. For example, pre-poll survey. Why you are conducting all these things? To predict who will come in power. Okay. So we have done prediction. Now, what will be the next goal? Suppose one person is suffering, is having some problem. So if it is a science, if it is something discipline, then do we have interest in controlling the situation? We have knowledge, we have theory, research, everything. So can we apply those things to control the situation? For example, person is very hyperactive. Knowing is enough? Knowing the explanation, understanding the explanation is enough? Or will you be willing to control also, that how to control the situation? For example, person is depressed, then you will not leave that person alone on his or her estate. You will try to control the situation. So control is also an important goal of psychology. If you visit a doctor, he will prescribe medicine for what? To treat the illness. Getting? So why he's working on the medical principle, but he's trying to control the situation, medical problem. So is the case with suppose a person is misbehaving, child is misbehaving and showing more aggression, and your theory say that because of the TV and TV time, so how much he is watching something like this on TV, that has impact on the behavior. So you will try to control the behavior also by cutting the time of the TV watching of the child, and in other ways also. So yes, this is also an important goal, that is called control. And finally, application. Control and applications are related, but application is a larger term in the sense, that is why in NCERT it is given separately. In other book, for example, Barron and all, you will find control. Control includes application. Suppose you want to treat depression, so treatment is control. Okay, but do you want to promote wellness also? Okay, so if you want to improve the situation, so you are, in general, your application is for problem solving, for improvement of all the therapy that you have, psychological therapy, that are based on psychological tools and technique and their principles, but purpose is to bring about change, desirable change. That is why it is called therapeutic change. So we apply psychological tools and technique to bring about changes, not just therapeutic changes, but in behavior in general. For example, midday meal. Midday meal you have applied. The theory is that if you reinforce a behavior, if you encourage a behavior, it will become more likely. It will be repeated. Okay. School going behavior is reinforced through midday meal. You have given money, meal, or whatever. So what should be the outcome? That child should be more likely to come to the school, and more child should come to the school. Okay. Whoever are being reinforced, and this happens. So you are applying the behavioral principles to bring about change. So application is also in society. So you want to solve the problem, societal problem. You are applying the same principles. So this is application. Application could be very wider thing. So many application in different education, in health, in everyday life, in traffic. In traffic management, see this thing, if you see that there are reckless driving in the city, this has been discovered that if a camera is installed, even if it is not working, then there comes decline in such cases, because the bike riders or car driver, they come to know that their behavior are being recorded. They could get challan, So fear of punishment is controlling the thing. So see, fear of punishment make behavior less likely. This you have applied in traffic and you are controlling the situation. You are improving the situation. So 4 goals of psychology, 5 goals of psychology: description, explanation, prediction, control, application. The same thing has been given in this text. You just read about this thing, you will be able to understand everything. See, here is given control, explanation, description, everything is given. I need not to repeat the same sentence, the same example. I will advise you the same. If you understand the 5 goals of psychology, think of many goal and many examples related to that goal, and see, you will feel that I can write of my own. You need not repeat my example or the examples given in the book. So in the next part, I will discuss the next section of the text. Thank you.